Well, hello, I'm Len Clark with Remax Associates Northeast here in Kingwood, Texas. And as promised, I wanted to spend some time on some market analysis. At least in this video, I want to highlight and focus mostly on how I come about getting my reporting. How do I know the ranges in which we're looking at for properties, either for sellers and or for buyers. So obviously the goal for a seller is to Well, hello, I'm Len Clark with Remax Associates Northeast here in Kingwood, Texas. And as I have promised in my other videos, this one is going to be covering more of the market analysis piece for the area. It's really important that you kind of see how it is that I derive to my valuations and all that, so that when you work with me, you get all these reports. I send them to you as you'll see them here, and it gives you an opportunity to kind of see for yourself, check with your own experience, your own gut, what you know to be for the area for yourself. And so this video is to kind of help show you how I derive this information, how I format it, and how to use it. Just in case you're not as familiar with Excel, this will allow you to be able to take it and run with it and know exactly what you need to do. But if you're a buyer or a seller, it's very, very important, especially if you're a seller. How much money can I sell this home for with the least amount of time on the market for the most amount of money? That's the right range, because holding costs is a silent killer for everyone's profit margins. They don't really realize it. They think, oh, if I hold out for $2,000 more, I'll be great. But the problem is that sometimes it may cost you $3,000 just to wait that additional 30 days. So my goal in working with this report is to help my sellers find that number that speaks to the market, that'll make the market react with it. Now, obviously, this report here, it doesn't know what the home looks like. It doesn't see the updates. It doesn't see years and years of love on a home. Okay, so there's a little bit of give and take in this. This is why it's kind of a range and not factual. So with my buyers, when we're looking at properties, we'll have a good idea of if it's a good price on paper, right? Are they asking way too much based on the averages that we're seeing in the area, or they fall kind of in line? And so how that speaks to a seller or how it speaks to a buyer is this way. I run this report. The home that one of my buyers is looking into, it's on the higher end of the average. Well, then when I walk through that home with them, I'm expecting to see updates. I'm expecting to see move in, walk in ready, just put down your furniture and start enjoying the home level for the top of the market price, okay? When we walk in there and we see, oh my goodness, there's holes in the walls, the ceiling is starting to fall down, the HVAC doesn't work, obviously the home is overpriced. This spreadsheet that I'm about to show you will not show the character of the home, the layout of the home, or the updates of the home. So just keep that in the back of your mind. But this is my channel. Please, if you're looking for videos in the Kingwood area and you're interested to learn more about the area, come check this out. I do a lot of driving tours and all that. Okay. So let's head over to this report. All right, so this report, I worked on it last night. I put it together. Now, when I download from the MLS, the numbers become static. It doesn't update, it doesn't change. It becomes as the time that I ran the report. So if you are an active buyer, this may help you analyze all the homes that are in the market in your preferred area very quickly and find homes that you want to see like that. It weeds through it all, okay, very quickly. But the following week, if you're wanting to see new homes that came on the market, I'll need to run you a new report. Does that make sense? Now, if you're a seller, this report could be several weeks old. It's okay. It kind of gives us the general sense of where you are. So just to give you an idea, today is December 3rd. I ran the report around 11 o'clock last night, so December 2nd. I pulled data from basically Humble, Atascocita, Kingwood, New Caney, and Porter area. Okay, so it's that kind of large area right here. But one thing I want to bring to your attention, or one thing I want to make sure that you're aware of, and just so that you know what I'm doing, I'm actually signing into the MLS. This is the MLS that all agents use to pull data, to be able to figure out, well, actually this is how we load all the documents, all the paperwork and everything in for putting a home on the market. This was what feeds the Zillow, the Realtor.com, the Trulia, whatever app you might be using to find homes. The MLS, this here is what feeds all of those. Okay. If you're looking for the Houston area or not from here, use the HAR app, H-A-R app. That's on Android or Apple, but that feeds directly to the MLS, and it's most accurate. You're not going to find stuff that has been sold for a couple of months on that site. All right, so what I wanted to show you is the map here. Okay, so this is the map of Houston, the Houston area MLS, and I can basically run this report for anywhere in this area, anywhere in here. So if you happen to stumble upon my videos, and you're saying, hey Lynn, I love this, this is great, but I'm not looking at the Kingwood Humboldt area, I'm actually looking over here in the Pearland area. That is okay. I can still run these reports, and I lived and worked all over Houston the last 20 years, so there's no area that I'm not all that familiar with. Okay, and I can help you. All right, so just to kind of give you an idea on the mapping, I pretty much did this area right here. This little area right there is pretty much what I did on this report. So you have that idea, and I'll blow it up just a little bit for you so you can see that. Okay, so let's come back to the report. All right, so how this is done is this here is actually the download from the MLS. So I went on the MLS, I put my criteria, did the circle. I wanted to look at active, pendings, and solds. And this is all for the last 6 months. And I did a download of all that into Excel, and then I cleaned it up because it comes down kind of funky. For example, there's a Atascocita Forest Section 8, a Atascocita Forest Section 3, some misspellings and stuff like that. So I went through and I made sure that all the subdivisions are all the same name and everything to clean up the report. Also, there's some fireplaces that are blanks, and I filled it in with blanks with zeros to help the report run better. Okay. So there is some manipulation that I've done with that, but it's more of those things. For example, there's one home in here that has 58 garages, and it's on the market for $160,000. I guarantee you there's not 58 garages. So I just moved it to 2. And those type of little edits is what I had done here on the worksheet. So from here, I created a pivot table. Okay, and this pivot table is run by slicers up here. And in this area right here, I have the averages of all the data that falls below. Okay, so make sure we put that back up to 100. So what this does is allows us to quickly review all the, how many records? This right here, in case you can't see it, this is the count. So this is how many data points are in the file. And there's 4,840 data points right now. And so this allows us to sort through very quickly what is in the area and what might fit with what you're looking for. So we're just going to give it a little trial run, and I'm going to be talking about how it might be helpful as a buyer and or as a seller with this report. And by the way, all my clients get this from me, and I don't know of any other agent that is doing this. So that is something that's very, very useful, especially if you're an Excel data guy. So what I like to do is we'll keep the active pending sold free. So let's just say that you're looking for a 4-bedroom home. You don't care about how many stories it is, 1, 2, 1.5 stories. You don't care. So we leave that blank. But you want to have at least 2 baths or more. So all these can stay checked, okay? But let's say that you really want to focus on Kingwood, Texas. So Kingwood, Texas is predominantly 77339 and 77345. Now what I did to select those is I hit the control key and I clicked 339 and then 345 zip codes. 77346 also feeds into Kingwood, but most of it is Atascocita Humble. So I'm just kind of leaving it out. What I'm focusing in on is this area right here, okay? When we're running this report, we're gonna kind of, I'm gonna do it as if you're a buyer and or a seller looking for a home, kind of like what your home is or what the home you're looking for. And so we say 4 beds, 2-car garage, 2 stories, 2 baths and 1 half baths, or 2 baths and 2 half baths. But since your home is just the 2.5 baths, we'll say 2.5 baths. And we're going to focus on Kingwood for this report. So we're going to do 77339 and 77345. Okay. So this is the whole population of homes that fit in that criteria. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to say no pool, and then we're going to say 1 fireplace. Okay. So up here is the subdivisions: Bear Branch, Elm Grove, Forest Grove, Green Tree, Mills Branch, Wood Spring Forest. Those are all the subdivisions that have activity within the last 6 months. And within that, there's 138 transactions, or active homes, pending homes, sold homes, okay? So 138 records. On here, the average, which we would expect to match with what we selected, is 4 beds, 2.5 baths, 1 fireplace, 2-car garage, built in 1989, and is 2,561 square feet on a little over a 9,000 square foot lot. Okay, so we got 2 stories, and here's the part that really kind of is telling. The average days on market is 80 days. Okay, tax rate is an average of 2.8, and here is where the pricing of the homes kind of come in. So one thing I want to get into before we start talking about price: this is a extremely different market than what it was 6 months ago. Inventory is low, homes are going off the market quickly. So this 80 days is probably heavier weighted to homes that sold towards the beginning. Okay, now if they're still active and they've been on there for that long, then we need to look into and seeing why, because this market is so hot right now that a lot of homes are selling a lot faster. And so we'll kind of dig into that, and you can follow up in the show notes or ask me, email me, call me, and let me know what your questions are on that. But anyways, just keep that in the back of your mind. Okay, so here's where the fun of it gets. If you're buying and you're looking for a home that fit this, or if you're a seller trying to sell a home along these lines, the original list price, which means, let's say you put your home on the market and we talk about price points, and you as a seller, after reviewing all the data and everything else like that, and after we talk about it, you fall and say, hey, you know what? I want to list the home for $250,000. I really feel like we can get it. This is a seller's market. Let's push for that. Let's see if we can do it. And then I say, okay, well, if we don't sell it within like 2 weeks, let's drop the price so that we don't lose too much time and we can still get it sold. So we all agree we do that, okay? Well, here is saying the average list price for the homes that fit this in Kingwood, Texas, and these zip codes is $250,000. It doesn't sell, and so the sellers and the agent agree to drop the price to $242,000. So this is the current price average for all 138 homes, okay? When this happened, the homes end up selling. And the price difference between the closed price and the actual current price before it went under contract is $239,000. So $239,600 versus $242,739. Let's make it bigger so you can see that, okay? Sum of current price, sum of closed price. That's only like, what, $3,000? Not bad. So they made a little bit more concessions on the price and everything else. Then here, this is sum of closed price adjusted. So this is $237,600. We're going to call it $237,600, which is $2,000 less than the closed price. What does this mean? Well, what this is that this is, all right, so you're a seller, you're a buyer, you're under contract, you're in the option period, and the inspection shows that the HVAC system needs to be serviced. There's some cracked windows that need to be addressed, and let's say that for whatever reason, the electrical box needs to be updated because it's currently a fire hazard. And so you, as a seller, agree to give the buyer $2,000 at closing to help with those items. And or the buyer says, you know what, the home's perfectly fine, I don't need any of the money for that, but I do need some help with closing costs. And so if you can help me $2,000 with closing costs, I'd greatly appreciate it. And he's like, well, you know, I want to sell the home and I'm okay with that, so let's do it. So that's what this is. So when I'm looking at homes, when I'm looking at prices for my buyers and my sellers, what I pay attention to is sum of closed price adjusted. That right there. That's kind of the net. And that's kind of what appraisers look for as well. Again, you can ask any dollar amount you want to sell your home. You know, you may feel your home's $1 million, but a person's only going to pay $300 for it. So I don't really focus on list price too much. List price doesn't mean much. Current price is a little bit more helpful, but I like closed price or closed price adjusted, because that really cuts out all the red tape. Like if you're a seller if you look at this number here, this is $13,000 less than what they originally asked for as a seller. So you're basically accepting $13,000 less than what you started out with. And I think it's disingenuous for an agent to not show that full picture, because you need to kind of know what you're up against and what has happened for the majority of homes. I'm not saying, I'm sure the home down the street could have sold for more than what they're asking, but based on the data and based on the averages, this is what a good expectation for you to have. And if we do better than that, fantastic. Now, as a buyer, I don't want you going and spending more than that. You know, I want to help make sure that we keep your money and just throwing it away just to throw it away. If we can get it for a better price, well, then that's what we're going to do. So now in this market, this $13,000 isn't a true number. I would probably half it to being about $6,000, because there's a lot of homes that sold before all this craziness really happened. So there, you can still get a good deal, and as a seller, you can ask closer to this. If I was working with you right now, I would probably suggest, because of the bullish market and everything else, that we'd focus more or less on current price. So at least start around 242 instead of 250. That would be the conversation I would have with you. If you are a buyer and they are listed at the average original list price, I would be looking at making our offer closer to the 242, maybe slightly more. Now, if there's multiple offers in the situation, of course, that changes the dynamic, but you kind of get the idea of where I'm leaning here. Now, let's dig into a little bit more of this. So, okay, Lynn, this is great. I see this report. I see what you're telling me, but how does this help me find houses, or how does this help me price my home? All right. So right now, we're just going to hit solds on the status here. So when I do that, there's 103 homes that sold. And the 103 homes that sold, the original list price was $247. The current price went to $239, and the closed price was the same, $239. And it ended up selling with seller concessions at $237.5. So basically $9,000 less than what they started out with. Now, if you recall, if you come here, so remember, this is 247 right here, okay? If we go to active, that number jumps up to 268. So that kind of gives you an idea. If you were buying a home 5 months ago, you could have gotten similar homes for quite a bit less, close to $20,000 less. That just tells you the insanity of this market right now. Okay, so that tells one story. Now let's say pending. Pending is 254. So it went from, at the beginning of this, like 6 months, the weighted average went from 247 to 254 to now active 268. And if you look at this, now this is telling too. So sold, it went from 247 to 239 as current price. So let me go equals this minus this, okay? That's a $7,606 drop, okay? On average, all the homes made that type of drop. When I go to pending, it went up to $13,725. So if you take a look at the difference, 247 is the original list price, pending is 254. So 47, 3, that $7,000 difference. Add 7,000 to this 7,000, you get 14,000. Now you get 14,000 here. You see what's happening? So it's interesting. Sellers on this pending anyways are increasing their prices to start out with, but they're still ending up netting out the same at the end of the day. You see, this is what this stuff gives us. This is really, really fascinating. So now on active, they even put it up even higher, and the price point change in the current price has only been $1,600. And if you take a look at the days on market, the average days on market is 116. There's a few homes I know in here that I would throw out from this report, just because it's an unfair weight. But I would say, crap. I would say, let's see here. It's closer to 46 days average if I threw out the properties I'm aware of on market. Whereas on the pending, all of them was 67, and then on sold, there were 78. And so why is that significant? Well, I can see that any of these homes that are on the market over 46 days, they're starting to feel the pressure, and price drops are about to occur, and or just because they're asking what they're asking for. The truth behind it all is that in order for a buyer in this market to feel comfortable, they're going to be looking for at least $13,000 off the price. So as a buyer, this is how I save you money. We truly analyze each property as it is, based against what's going on in the marketplace, by zip code, by subdivision, and we can nil it down to knowing exactly where we are. Now, obviously, one home in here may not fit this dynamic, okay? It may have only been on the market for 3 days, and it's well priced, and because it's well priced, we don't want to assess them another $13,000 on top of it, right? But that also tells us we better move, because that home's going to sell quickly, which flips back to my sellers. By looking at what's active, right, and knowing what's actually selling with the pendings, we don't want to be, oh, okay, well, my neighbor's selling his house for $299. Let's put my house for $299 too. Well, that may not be quite right. We may need to be looking closer to $289. You see what I'm saying? Now you outbeat your competition. Your home's just as nice. You're not leaving anything on the table, because majority of all these homes based on pending are having to close at that level anyways. So let's just cut through the chase. Let's get your home on the market, make it nice, and sell it quickly. And for, you know what? I've seen homes in this dynamic, when they're priced right, buyers recognize it and sometimes actually ask for less concessions and gives more money over price, because they really want that home, because it is a value. There's only one of your home out there. So keep that in mind. All right. So how do we kind of, from this list, Lynn, how do we know which home we need to kind of, or which homes should we be able to focus in on, or what have you, or if you're a seller, what prices should you kind of land on? So for that, I go to my solds. All right. So the average sold is $93.85, right? So this is my mid. I'm going to put in my low, and I'm going to type in my high. Okay? And just so that you have an idea of what I'm talking about, I'm going to blow it up. Okay. So I'm going to find the absolute lowest. There's 82, 61, 50, as of right now, it looks like 50's got it. I'm going to go ahead and zoom this out so I can go through it a little bit faster. Okay, so it was the $50 one not one. Now, don't worry, guys. As buyers or sellers, we're not going to focus on that 52 hard, okay? Because what this might be is a renovation. This home, let me see where it's at so I can kind of troubleshoot it just a little bit. So this home is in Elm Grove, Hidden Glen. Oh, here, let's do this too. I want to show you this. So let's just say I send you this report. This is the MLS number here. You can copy that MLS number. You can come into your HAR app, or even your realtor.com or whatever website you might be using, and you can click in the MLS number and do a search for it. And so you see this is how it came up. Here's the listing for this home. And send all offers, property not on showing service. This is a beautiful home in a great location. Potential investment or TLC to fix while one is living inside. So a fix and flip that wasn't completed. Okay, so basically what this is a home that someone bought. They wanted to, and based on the location, I'm going to say that I think it probably flooded in Imelda. Holy cow. I've actually been in this house. It's in one of my quick tours, guys. They did a fantastic job on the updates and everything. It looks fantastic. I'll have to refer that video in there. Let's see what they did differently. Oh wow, they really changed out the kitchen a lot. Yeah, no, this is good. Okay, so basically this was not a livable. Technically you probably could pitch a tent there, but I wouldn't recommend it. And so this home, they sold it for bottom price just to get out from underneath it, okay? And another investor came in and they bought it. And let me go to the history. I'll show you what it is now. 360 history. So option is pending right now on the new one. Let me just show you the pictures of it. So here it is now. I walked it just a couple weeks ago. So look how pretty the floors are. So they did all the new flooring. Look at the kitchen and what they did with it. Nice and open. This was a real cool house. So this home's back on the market and they're asking $229,900. Who knows what it actually ended up for? But either which way, what I was trying to get to is that this price here, if your home is livable, is updated, is nice, you're not going to want to be held at $55.99 a square foot. That's ridiculous. But just to kind of get the range and get the feel for the area and for the homes, I still find the lowest price. And so up here in low, I put 55. Oh, here, let's do it on the other side. $55.99. Now on the high, I go down here and I find the highest one. So we got 112, 111, 124 right there. 101, 102, 126 here. What else do we got? Okay, so 126.35 is the high. Okay. So just like the low, this 126.35, let's pull this one up. This is Bear Branch. Oh, I know this one. This one's a pretty home. Listing. Oh, right, here we go. Criteria. Put in that MLS number. So look at the kitchen. Look how pretty that is. All new appliances. Has that magnolia feel to it. The Gaines family. Apron sink. Gas range. Look at the outside. Look how pretty that is. There's the entry. So basically this is top end material. Look at the fireplace. I mean, they used all updated appliances, all updated fixtures. Staged really well. The flooring's really pretty. This home did not flood, to my knowledge. I'm pretty sure it didn't flood. I can always double check, but just the layout's really nice. So they were able to get away with the top of the market price point because of what they did here. They got the little barn thing, chevron style, the marble, very nicely done. You may not like all of that there, but it is high end. Okay, so, and look at the custom cabinets. Really nice. Oh, look at the mud wall. Oh yeah, this thing has it all. Look at the tile in the bathroom. So now you can kind of see what the highest dollar is. Okay, so now if your home is nice with a nice big backyard and has a similar layout and everything, but the kitchen is outdated, has Formica countertops, has 1970 appliances, you're not going to be able to expect $126 a square foot, right? So just like we kind of did with the low, we kind of have to, mitigate the high there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take 126.35 and I'm going to multiply it by the square feet. So 2566, that's the average square feet. Okay, let's do that, and then we're going to do the same for here. And just for laughs and giggles, we'll do that there. All right, so the range of the valuations for this area is 144 to 324, with the average being around $831. So basically, kind of what I would end up doing is I saw a lot of, because I've done a lot of research in this, I kind of know that a good starting point for a home that needs to be updated is about $88 a square foot. So the real bottom number is $225,000. Okay, so if your home is move-in, livable, but just totally outdated, 225 is a good bottom number for that. Now, obviously 126, not every home is going to be like that and super high. A lot of them tend to poke out at around 111, 112. And so I just put 112 there. So in my opinion, and this is where I give you the report and you can make a determination, anywhere from 225 to 287 is a fair range, with the average being 241. That's if you're a seller. This is kind of what we're looking at. Now, I do the same process if you're a buyer. But if you're a buyer, what does this mean, Lynn? All right. Well, what I like to do is I like to flip the switch. Let me hard code this so it doesn't change. Control C, pay special values, lock that in. Okay, so it's locked in. Now we're going to come over here and we go to active. These are the homes that are on the market now. Okay, so so there's only 15 homes on the market that fit our criteria that we put in earlier. Okay, so and if you remember, the actives were like what was it? Like $14,000 higher in price than just the ones that had sold, which is heavier weighted to 6 months ago. Okay, so the price is just skyrocketed, and we want to make sure that we keep you safe and not overpay. And so when we come over here, we see 240 as being a mid, right? So let me do this. I'm gonna have to reverse engineer this really quick. Hold on 1 second. So around $95 a square foot is where we're kind of looking at. Okay, so on the side here, I'm gonna say equals this divided by the square feet. That's $81 a square foot all the way down. So there's some homes in here that are at a fantastic price point. So if you are a buyer and you're wanting to know, what does this mean for me? How does this help me, Lynn? This is great information, but how is this going to help me? Okay, so we hard-coded our research on the solds, so we know about how much is low, high, medium, right? And when we come here and look at the prices, we see 195 to 306, 310, 320, 345 is the high end, okay? Now, some subdivisions may run higher than others. Well, I haven't gone to the subdivision level. I'm just kind of doing the high level for you. But we did agree that $95 is kind of like the middle of the road. Well, when we look at this, I see 81, 98, 78, 92, 67, 66, 72. I see some really low priced homes in here. Even this one in Green Tree, which is really kind of interesting. It's on Broadleaf. It's 2,900 square feet. They're asking $345, but it's $67.35 a square foot. So just for laughs and giggles, let's go take a look at it, okay? So I hit that, we go to here, we hit the criteria. All right, so here's the home. So it has great curb appeal, it looks nice on the outside. Pretty. Okay, so it has fantastic flooring. Some of the colors may not be to the majority of the people's taste, but I do like the design of the crown molding and all that. So I mean, it's pretty. You may want to change the colors a little bit. It has an office. I do like the wood office. Kind of nostalgic. It feels kind of cool. So this is the office. Now you can always paint it. I don't know if you can see my walls. You can always paint it white, like I have mine, and it makes it more executive feel. So here's the living room. Nice fireplace. It's updated. I mean, again, the colors may not be your style, but I mean, it's nice. Got the stairs in the back of the home, which I like. Kitchen's updated. We got new appliances. Looks like granite countertops, a walk-in desk area. You got a little microwave above here. I wish it was gas range, but that's still nice. Excuse me. Nice walk-in pantry. All right, so look at the bathroom and look at the walk-in closet. Showers, fantastic. It has two shower heads on either side. This is a nice house. All right, so basically from looking at this, if you were in the price point of $345, if you were able to swing that and that was a comfortable budget for you, I would have to strongly recommend this house. It's been on the market for a while. Well, it's only 5 days on the market. I don't quite understand why it's $67 a square foot. You know what? I think I do. So Green Tree, different subdivisions run different price points and all that. I think probably what happened here is that they improved the property. This is a story where someone may have bought it and was trying to flip it, and then they just went really crazy on their budget, putting in a lot of nice stuff, and and all that, and then realized, oh shoot, I can't sell it for all the materials I put in. The importance of working with a good realtor. Okay, well, anyways, based on this, we would have to do a deep dive to see if it would appraise for a green tree at 345. But for your bang for your buck, this is a fantastic deal. Okay, so that's just one example of how we can dig in to exactly what you're looking for. And don't forget, I have these levers here. You can tell me, Lynn, this is fantastic, but I only want Kings Mill. Boom. Here's Kings Mill. 3 active properties in Kings Mill right here. Okay, and you say, Lynn, I want a pool. Okay, no problem. We'll start looking for homes with pools. Okay, this is a very dynamic report. We can undo everything here by hitting this little funnel right here, and then we can, so now we can just focus on Kings Mill. Remember, I have Kings Mill selected right here. So in Kings Mill, in the last 6 months, 85 properties are in here, and the average is 4 beds, 2.4 baths, 1 fireplace, 2-car garage, 2,600 square feet, and the average home sold for $98 a square foot. Okay, and then we can just needle it down and figure out exactly what we're looking for. Oh, here's something cool, okay, guys? So let's say you're a seller or you're a buyer and you're thinking, do I want a pool? Do I want a pool? Or don't want one? You know, what is it? So we can say, okay, no pool, $98 a square foot average, okay? The average sold price is $240. With the pool, $389. Well, there's only one record, so it's kind of hard to base the whole 6 months on this one record, but that gives you an idea of price difference. Homes with a pool versus homes without a pool. If you were just to select all of 77339 right here and say without a pool, $230. Okay, with a pool, average is $363. So if your price point was only $250 and you're wanting a home with a pool, I would say your opportunity of finding one in that price point won't be as great. And if one does come up, you may not be able to be so picky on what the home is like on the inside, if that makes sense. So this is how it really helps us. I'm Lynn Clark. I'm with Remax Associates Northeast. I live and work here in the Kingwood area. However, I do help my clients all throughout. My most recent clients were from out of town, from Ohio, and they only had one weekend to find a home. And we went to Sugar Land, southwest of Houston, to Pearland, southeast Houston, all the way up to Kingwood. And we saw, it turned out to be a little over 20 homes because we added some along the way. And I took videos of the homes, of only the ones they liked, because when you're doing something like this, all the homes start to blend together. And so what we did is that, look, every home you go into, you're a goldfish. Memory of a goldfish. You don't remember anything beyond the home that you're just now standing in, okay? And so the goal was is that if you like the house, even if you're kind of like, maybe, we'll record it, okay? And then we'll go to the next one. By the time we get to the next house, forget about the old house, and we'll just do a video of that. And we just did it all, and we actually found them a great home. Let me show it to you, since we're here. Fern Park. Map. So the home I helped them buy is this one right here. Okay. So here in Kingwood, out of the 20 plus homes we walked through, we set our sights on this one. We went over the numbers and everything. This was listed for $249. Okay. Listed for $249. and I got this home for them at 243 plus some money for seller assistance as well. Our option period ends in a couple of days, and we will be closing December 28th. So here's the house that we were able to land on. They made a good deal. I think the sellers made a really good deal because the only reason why we really came down under was because we're concerned about the appraisal. And how did I know that? Because my spreadsheet. I saved everybody a lot of time, because what if we made a full ask offer because the home was beautiful, and the homes that we saw, based on what was in there, I mean, it was definitely worth it. There was no question about that, but a bank may not appraise it for that because of, like I was saying, over improvements, right? And so what would happen is that you would, in this situation, you put all your money into it. You do your inspections, you do all that stuff, you make all your plans, and then what happens if you get to the appraisal and it doesn't appraise? And the sellers decide that they don't want to drop their price to meet the appraisal value, which this is an FHA loan, and if that doesn't match, they don't have the funds to make up the difference. So they would have had to walk away from this deal, lose all that money. And so that's why this is important. That's why doing this analysis is important. So as a seller or as a buyer, I give you this. You can run around with it and play with it. But there's one other thing that I want to highlight and I want to share with you. This is kind of like a bonus here. So let's just say you're a buyer. This works for my sellers as well. We'll go to Chris thing. So here's the Alta buy. All right, let me pull up this spreadsheet really quick. Okay, this here, I have a finance degree, corporate America, work as a budget planning guy, oil and gas, 15 years experience, okay? I'm applying my finance degree, all my experience in corporate America, and I reverse engineered what the title company basically kind of does, kind of like a settlement, like a closing disclosure at the end of the process, so that you know how much you need, how much all your fees were, and how much you have to spend at the end of the day, and how much you need to bring to table, and or if you're a seller, how much you're going to be earning at the end of the day. Okay, your net after agent earnings and all that stuff. Okay, so what I do is before you even make an offer, or before you even accept an offer, and let's say you have 5 offers as a seller that you're comparing to, and as a buyer, let's say you have 5 homes, 5 different properties that you really like, but you're not sure which one to go for. So we're going to be looking at the financing side of it. Well, here you go. Now, this isn't pretty. This is kind of more or less for me and my notes for me to get us to where we need to go. But I basically put in the dynamics of the offer. So for this case, we'll say it's $215 at $3,000 earnest money. You're going to put 3.5% down. Property taxes are $58.50. I have closing day. It kind of calculates interest per day. It goes through how much your payoff is on the home, or how much the seller's payoff is. Warranty fees, transfer fees for HOA. Look, these numbers are kind of, some of them are just kind of an average of the fees that I've seen. So there's going to be a swing. This is not going to be rock solid, but I would say it's within $2,000 of what to expect, okay? Unless something majorly changes during the contract. So with this, at the bottom, if you were the seller of this home, you'd make $45,683 at closing. If you were a buyer, you would need to bring $18,211 to closing. So $18,211 to closing to be able to purchase this home. Well, wouldn't that be nice to be able to know before you actually make an offer or accept an offer what your earnings would be, or how much you'd have to bring to close? I have this for all my clients. I give this to all my clients. They know this, but let's. And here's the cool thing: if you're a seller and you're looking at 5 different offers in your hand, I can run all 5 of them in this scenario. They're apple to apple to apple comparison based on the merits of the offer and all the different boxes that are checked or not checked and what all that means. You'll be able to compare dollar to dollar to dollar to dollar for each offer and know exactly where you're landing. This is really cool. And then as a buyer, you'll know about how much to expect. So if you're looking, oh, Lynn, I love this home. It's $250,000, but I think it's going to push us a little bit too far outside of our range. This other home is $215,000. This is more comfortable. Can you run the analysis on the two? So I say, sure. And we run it. Now, this wouldn't be the same. This is just your closing costs. So let's take a look at what you'd actually spend on a monthly basis. And again, the principal interest payments, this is locked in. If I know your interest rate and the term and down payment and what you're offering for the property, this is locked down. This right here. Property insurance, that's estimated. Okay, it might be cheaper, it might be more expensive, but I kind of use $150 as a gauge. That seems to be a pretty good gauge. And then in this one, I don't have it, but you need to include mortgage insurance, and I'd have to get with your lender to figure out what mortgage insurance might be. I've seen it anywhere from $89 to like $145. So I would put $125 just as a guesstimate. And then here's the monthly property tax. And this may be a little bit higher than what it really will be because I use what you actually paid for the home and I don't give you a homestead. Okay, so I'm trying to give you the higher amount so you're pleasantly surprised. And with all this, your out of pocket would be $1,650. Now, if the home that you're looking at, that you said you wanted closer to whatever it was, 250, then, and it was in the same tax, right? Everything else is the same except for, same area, but different home, different price. So you're going to be looking at a difference of $114. This is where I can come in. I can really help you figure out if $114 is more than what you can because this was already at the top of your budget. Well, then we're not going to look at $250,000 homes. I don't want to disenfranchise you on the price point that you can afford by showing you homes that are outside your reach or what you feel comfortable with. However, there's other things that we can do financially that will bring in more dollars to your pocket every single month. And it only works for people who have not owned their own home before. If you've been renting or living at home, there's a little thing that you get to claim your interest rate and you get to claim your property taxes on your tax return. And so generally kind of how it works is, let's say you're at the 20% tax bracket and your annual property tax bill and mortgage interest payments equals $20,000. I'm just making it up. Well, 20% of 20,000 is what, $4,000? Is that right? 10% of 20 is 2. Yeah, so 4,000. Well, that would mean is that you'd be able to take $4,000 off of your adjusted gross income every year. And so instead of baking that, so basically what that means is that if you were to buy your home and move in January 1st of 2020, you would get April 2021 $4,000 more than what you did in April 2020 because of the extra money that you were able to write off on your adjusted gross income. So how you combat that is that you go to your employer and you change your withholdings. Now, definitely talk to your CPA, your bookkeeper, get with somebody else. I've done this for myself, and I know the numbers, and I focus in on that. But there's been a lot of tax ruling changes and all that stuff, and depending where you are and all that stuff, just double check with a qualified CPA, accountant, bookkeeper to make sure. What I would do is say, hey, at least $2,400 of that you could probably guarantee to bank. And so if you're claiming 0 on your exemptions with your employer, when I was doing this, it was $25 for every point. So you could probably change it 4 points to claiming 4. And so every single pay period, you would be getting $100 back. So every month that translates, if it's a 24 pay period bi-weekly, you'll be looking at basically $200 a month extra in your paycheck. 200 times 12 is 24, so you'd be getting about $2,600 more every year. And so that would easily make up this difference right here. But please listen to me here. I do not recommend anyone spending more than what they're comfortable on their current budget. I would much rather use this trick that I told you about and then use those extra monies to go to your retirement to save money for your future, kids' education or what have you. That's what I'd much rather see you do, but it's also up to you. So anyways, I hope this was helpful. I'm going to be doing some more I'm going to do some more detail reporting about zip codes and where they are and where the averages are and all that stuff for each village. I'll be going into a little bit more of that in Kingwood. But please remember, if you need this for any part of the Houston area, I can get this report for you. Just reach out, let me know. If you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, share it with friends. If you know of anybody that might be moving, someone that might need a good, competent realtor, please reach out to me. Driving my way, I would love to be able to help them. I really, really love what I do, and this stuff really fires me up. And so don't settle for someone that's just feels like they're stuck in a job. Go to someone that loves what they do and has a passion for it and passion to helping others. And with that, I would like to say, have a fantastic day. Later.